Good. Good. Well, first off, I'd like to say thank you all for coming out today. We certainly appreciate it. We know we deal with many of you on a regular basis, so I know you guys know the history of our transparency and how important it is for us to get information out to the media and to our public, not only quickly but accurately. So today is one of those rare exceptions where a lot of the information pertaining to this investigation cannot be released. It cannot be released not only because of the ongoing investigation, but more importantly, because we feel that more people could get seriously hurt or even killed. So with that being said, I'd like to ask you to bear with us, that we can only release limited information at this time. So with that being said, I'd like to now introduce Chief Timothy Altomare. That's Altomare, to say a few words. Chief.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming out. As Lieutenant Frazier stated, today may be an exercise in frustration for a couple of you out here today, because I'm going to be very limited in what I'm able to say. I'm not going to be able to talk about specific case information. I'm not going to be able to talk about geography. I'm not going to be able to talk about dates of occurrence. I'm not going to give you names, and I'm not going to give you any real concrete numbers. So I get that's a frustrating thing for you. What I will say is this: the decisions that I've made and will continue to make about when to speak about things in public, I'm aided in my decision making by one litmus test, and that is, do I have a duty to talk to the public? And if I do have a duty to talk to the public, is what I'm going to say and do going to increase the chances of somebody getting hurt? So today, I've hit a point in this investigation where I felt that not speaking about what we're going to talk about here in a minute has as much chance of getting somebody hurt as speaking about it. So I'm going to do that. As you answer questions, please don't be offended if I'm not as open and forthcoming as you've seen me be. It's for the best of reasons in the world. Having said that, I'm here to confirm for you today that the Anne Arundel County Police have found 3 bodies of human beings. The people that we found were killed in a homicide. The murders are gang related, and we have arrested multiple suspects. The final thing I really want to say today is that every level of government is working around the clock, non-stop, to lessen the dangers to the citizens of Anne Arundel County. Every level of government means federal, state, local, city, every level of government. The Maryland State Police is a good partner and will continue to be. And I'm asking the citizens of Anne Arundel County from the bottom of my heart today that if you're in fear, if you think a gang wants to hurt you, I'm begging you to come and talk to us. Your lives matter to us. It's our job to keep you safe. We take it seriously, and we will move heaven and earth to get you the help you need if you need help to stay safe. There are 2 numbers other than 911 that I want to give people today. I talked about the first number last week. Our gang tip line is 410-222-4700. 410-222-4700. And then if you just think you might have a piece of a puzzle that could help us put a bad guy away before they hurt somebody, just a rumor, anything, I want you to call 410-222-4117. I'm going to close my prepared statements by saying every human being in this county matters to us. I'll say it again, we'll move heaven and earth to get you the help you need. If you live in fear, we want to help you stop it. We won't desert you, and we'll be there for you. That's my word as your chief of police. And I'll take a few questions but I'll beg you to understand I can't go much further.
Chief, I know from recent reports, I guess we had a body in Quiet Waters, there's a body over by the Beltway. Are these involved, can you say, are these involved in the three?
I'm not going to talk about geography today, and I'll beg you to understand that my reticence is directly related to trying to keep people alive. I can't talk about it.
Can you say that are those part of the three bodies, or are these three bodies new that we may not have information about?
I
in
don't
the
think
press?
the press had information on these bodies.
Is there a particular community that is being targeted? To whom are you speaking?
I'm talking to every citizen of Anne Arundel County, from the Calvert County line to the Baltimore City line and in between. If you're in fear, we're going to come help you.
Chief, this comes 1 week after you guys came out saying that you had this strategy to target and attack the gangs here in Anne Arundel County. How's that strategy going so far? And I guess what is your message to the gang members, since you're saying this is gang related?
Two-part question. So the first part is we're making headway. As I stated, we've made multiple arrests. We're going to continue to make arrests. Our strategy moving forward is going to be a combination of investigative techniques and good old-fashioned community policing. I want every community out there to know that we're there for them, and that the support that they need if they do live in fear of a gang is going to be there.
And a quick follow-up, you said you've made multiple arrests. Do you suspect that any of those arrested are members of MS-13?
Not prepared to discuss specifics today.
The bodies that you found close other cases that were open in terms of missing persons or anything like?
I think it's fair to say that we've been working really hard to bring closure to families. And if you'll allow me, Phil, I'm going to leave it at that.
You say whether it's adults or children, the bodies you found?
Not prepared to discuss that yet.
Can you tell us why you think that people are in danger? If people have been arrested, why do you think that people remain in danger?
Well, I've got 3 people who ended up dead. I'm closing the loop. We're making headway. But until I'm 100% sure that the problem's been solved in toto in this county, I think people are in danger. And if people need help, it's going to be there for them.
You talk about, with your heroin program, people come in with drugs and with paraphernalia, and your department's willing to overlook that. So you're asking people to come forward that maybe their citizenship may be questionable? Is that something that is secondary to you, that you might be able to overlook that to try to help out some other issues?
Could care less about people's status. Could care less. It's not my business. It's not my job. I'm here to help people stay safe, and that's what we're going to do. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
From your other
What's
press
going on there?
conference,
Is there an outbreak of gang violence? I mean, you've got 3 here and there's some concern and you're speaking out. I mean, obviously it speaks for itself that 3 people are deceased, but is something happening? Is somebody trying to gain a foothold? Is there some, movement being made by this group?
I really can't go into any more specifics. I'll tell you this: gangs ain't going to take over Anne Arundel County, period.
from last press conference and this one, a big part of your message seems to be that there's a lot of intimidation going on. Is that, I mean, nothing's more intimidating than having someone killed. Is that a large part of this gang problem per se that's in the county, that there's the school kid who was beat up because he wouldn't join in? Is intimidation a large part of what you're seeing here in the county?
I think fear's a large part whenever gangs rear their head. I think that we have people living in fear in Anne Arundel County, and it's going to stop. The reason I'm so hesitant to answer in-depth questions up here, guys, is because I'm afraid I'm going to put another person in jeopardy. I can't go any further than I'm going because I'm not going to put another person in jeopardy. But as a chief of police, the sliding scale in the last 24, 36, 48 hours has slid that I need to talk to my public to keep them safe versus keeping my mouth shut to keep them safe. I'll beg you to understand that only I'm in the position to make that decision at this point, and I'm going to live up to my oath.
Excuse me, Chief, you mentioned last week that you all were essentially waging a war against gang members here in the county. Do you feel like the gang members are waging a war back against police and the community?
I think gang members exist for a profit margin, right? I think the gang exists to make money and to control areas to facilitate that making money. And there's always a danger. Gang members are dangerous people. police are absolutely aware of the dangers. We want our public to be aware of the dangers, but more specifically, we want the public to know that we're willing to bleed for them so they don't have to.
Chief Altamari, Jay
Ma'am.
Schlegel, WNEB. Thanks for having the press conference.
Yes, ma'am.
How's the collaboration going with the FBI as far as their input and work alongside local police?
The collaboration at all levels truly is fantastic. It's going to continue to be fantastic. Look, we live in the greatest of free societies in the world, and when there's a danger that becomes clear and present, and it makes people live in fear, we pull out all the stops and we stop worrying about what uniform we wear or don't wear, or what our jurisdictions are, and we bring justice to people and make them feel safe. So it's been great, Miss Jane.
So multiple people have been arrested as a result of the investigation. Have they officially been charged? And can you speak about the charges that they're facing and in what court?
Cannot.
Can
So I'll tell you this: if we arrest them, we got to charge them, right?
Right.
And let me stop there.
Okay. You say that you are fearing for the public safety, but that you feel that this is a necessary vehicle in order to also speak to the public safety as well. Can you speak at all about who you're talking about in terms of the public? Because we're talking about gangs. Gangs target groups of people. Can you talk about what group of people that you feel is ultimately in danger?
Yeah, absolutely. The citizens I serve.
So everyone in Anne Arundel County should
Yeah.
be fearful.
So let me say this specifically: if a person fears a gang, if a person feels like they are remotely possibly being targeted by a gang, we want to hear about it. We want to hear about it before they make a mistake that might end up with them hurt.
Can you walk us through the process if someone does contact you in fear? What happens next?
So the two numbers that I gave you are directly linked to an alert system, so that when the call comes in, it doesn't sit for 8, 12, 14, 18 hours, okay? So it's going to go to a detective that we got the call and a brief description, and then you're going to get a call back from an Anne Arundel County policeman saying, what do you got? What can we do to help? And then I'm not teasing you, I'm not being sarcastic when I say we're going to get you the help you need. We're going to spend the money that needs to be spent. It's no object. We're going to figure it out. What you need is going to be there, and we're going to get you put somewhere safe, and we'll figure it out, and we'll make you safe.
Sir, if I might follow up, I have on record that as of yesterday, with the 2 shot victims in the Brooklyn area,
Yes, ma'am.
that put us at the count of 11 for 2017. This new count then bumps that up. Last year, there were 16 in the entire year.
I have us at 13 on the year right now.
13,
Yes, ma'am.
that's 3 included with the remains.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
What's your message to the people involved in the gangs, the ones who are, the reason you're here today? What's your message to them directly?
Not here. It ain't happening here.
When do you expect to be able to give the public more information as to the arrests, the victims, anything about this investigation where you would feel that you are more comfortable talking?
As soon as I can do it without getting somebody hurt, Phil. And I'm not being purposely, that's my answer. As soon as I did this, as soon as I thought doing it kept people safer than hurting their safety. Every step I take moving forward is going to be based upon the information that I have, that helps me make a decision about, do I talk more or is it going to get somebody hurt? That's really it.
ICE have detainers on any of the people you've arrested?
I'm sorry?
Does ICE have detainers on any of the people you've arrested?
I have no idea.
Chief, a quick question for you. There's a lot of people are going to have a lot of questions after this because there are so many unanswered questions. And I know that you're saying that this is to keep people safe, but we're not trying to cause mass hysteria here. But what's your message to people who maybe weren't nervous about gangs in Anne Arundel County before, but so many unknowns might cause them to be nervous after they see a news report like this?
So that's a great question, and I appreciate it. I'll say this. There's a gang presence in every community in Anne Arundel County. For a lot of years, we didn't talk about it. For a lot of years, we were discouraged from talking about it. My boss is open, honest, and transparent and wants us to go after the bad guys and help and keep people safe. So, but a presence doesn't mean they've taken over. So we're not going to let them take over. It's not happening, right? If you're in a community that you do see signs of gang presence, graffiti that looks gang related, some graffiti is gang related, some isn't, call. I've got pros. They'll come out and look at graffiti and tell you if it's gang related. Whether it's at the Brooklyn line like Miss Jane talked about, or whether it's in South County. And guys, we have gang graffiti in South County, all the way to the Calvert County line. So there's a presence in every community. But your police departments aren't gonna let them take over, and they're not gonna let people make people live wholesale in fear. It's not happening.
Are we too far behind the chief, the curve on this chief to maybe catch up and nail this down?
I don't think so, Miss Jane. We're gonna nail it down. It's gonna happen. Yeah, we're gonna be okay. That's cold comfort for the families who have lost a loved one. And I wanna say this, if we haven't contacted a family, we have not found their loved one.
So you were discouraged from talking about gang-related violence?
There have been periods in our history where we have been discouraged from talking about gang-related violence, Phil, yes.
Okay, can you talk about it at all, what changed and when? Why?
My boss is open, honest, and all about being honest with people, telling them the problems that we're solving and how hard we're working on solving it. So, one more question, please.
So you have 3 dead bodies. Is there some missing that you're afraid may come up to make that number go to 4 or 5? Or?
We're working on everything, Mr. Harrison, but I can't go into more details, really can't. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate your time. God bless, be safe.